So I mean, you're talking ESPN's already broadcasting both of those games. So networks are going to change the way they show TV now, so we can see more Dodgers. There's going to be more weekly Dodger games nationally televised. Fox is out in L.A., so this is like perfect for Fox. They're going to be like, we're going to be showing a lot more Dodger games. Well, they also have a local Comcast deal that they're. It's a multi-billion-dollar thing that they're probably going to renegotiate. So they're going to make their money back. Don't doubt that the Dodgers are great business people.
I agree with that.
And they're going to make their money back on this deal.
Another thing we were talking about during the break is just the makeup of that ownership. That is a corporation. That is not just Magic Johnson.
Steve Cohen.
It's just not one guy.
Magic Johnson, I don't even think owns a percent.
Is he even in there anymore?
He
just goes to the games and smiles and shakes some hands, kisses some babies. Good for him, man. He probably made a good coin off of that deal too. But
what percentage is? Let's just say it was 10 million, even 100 million of 2 billion. I mean, that's what Magic Johnson put into the Dodgers. He's the face of the Dodgers. But they're, like you said, this reminds me of rollerball, where the corporations get so big that basically the sport doesn't matter anymore.
True. So true. And when I bring that up, I think about your question, or I guess it was Al Gatula's question, of what happens if this team goes bankrupt? What happens if this team changes ownership? I don't know.
That happened to Steve Young. That happened to Herschel Walker. These USFL teams back in the day went bankrupt.
Owned by individuals.
They were owned by individuals.
And I feel a lot safer with the Guggenheims or whoever this corporation is, that they are going to treat it as if it is a corporation transaction. And it is not that was the last guy and you guys may have had an agreement, but we're going to do all we possibly can to get out of this in court. And we're going to tie you up in the legal system as much as possible. There's no PR backlash to that like there would be for the Guggenheims. I just feel like ownership matters and who you are doing this for. But I do wonder how the MLBPA is thinking about this. Like, our players, of course, when they saw $700 million, ka-ching for everyone. But now when they see $2 million per year and you're deferring it, are they thinking, what the hell are you doing, Shohei? You're ruining it for all of us who don't play for the Dodgers. Like Bryce Harper. What's your problem, man? You going to take all that money? Come on, look at Shohei. He's only taking 2. You can take 5. Defer the rest. Get Yamamoto or Bellinger. What are you doing, man?
And trust me,
300?
Listen,
come on, look at Shohei.
We don't talk often enough about this. A lot of people, listen, I know that Johnny Damon was involved with Bernie Madoff, who lost all their money. A lot of athletes were. You could look it up. I'm looking at it right now and trying to get to the bottom of the Willie Wilson lifetime deal and what happened when they guaranteed him all this stuff. So a lot of these people back in the day, it was like Kareem, it was third baseman Greg Nettles, a whole bunch of guys got involved in a bunch of different investments. Ron Guidry was one of them. Like local strip malls and stuff. They never ended up getting built. A lot of these guys lost a ton of money with bad investment, and that happens too. So and right off the top, people are ripping Bobby Bonilla's deal. Listen, my old agent Dennis Gilbert did that deal, and that was because Bernie Madoff didn't have the money, and the Wilpons who were with the Madoffs lost hundreds of millions. They didn't have the money to pay Bobby the $7 million that year to finish up his contract, and so he said, "Okay, we'll defer it," and that's where that contract happened. But he's not the only one, as we found out this year. Brett Saberhagen's still making $250 a year.
Ken Griffey Jr.
Ken Griffey Jr. is the highest paid Red after Votto every year. I mean, so smart players don't want all the money up front, because there's two things about players that people may not understand. First, not all of us come from money, so as soon as we get our hands on it, we're going to spend it.
That's a good point.
Okay, I remember some guys I played with that had a big contract. They had 10 cars, 5 houses, which, insurance and other stuff.
My parents would not let me do this.
Yeah,
There's no way my parents would let me do this. Like, if I got a $700 million contract and I said, you know what, Mom and Dad, I'm only going to take 20 of it for the first 10 years. I'm like, the hell you are.
But that's even another part of this contract. Your family can't attack you for money when you're saying, I'm only bringing in $2 million a year, dude. I don't have all that other. I don't have the other $68 million annually to help out all of my family.
Yeah, what about that Mizuno commercial?
I'm not saying it's that way with him.
Yeah.
But I know so many players that have tried to give back to their siblings and their relatives and stuff like that, and a lot of them are like, no, I want more. No, I want more, and it never stops. And so what I'm saying is, to stop a lot of people coming out of the woodwork for your money, I don't have any money. I'm not even taking $680 million of it until 10 years from now. So give me a call in 10 years. 10 years from now, this guy could buy an island.
I got a signing. We have got more signings going on in the hot stove, and I got one for you right now, hot off the presses. The Royals.
No.
Sign right-hander Seth Lugo. 3 years, $45 million, and he wants it all right now.
Again, we're talking about a guy who's bringing in $45 million off the field. And,
Shohei is making Seth
the
Lugo
one
money
guy.
off the field.
Yeah, Seth Lugo's not making $45,000 off the field. And if he is, God bless him.
God bless you, Seth.
But, but what we're talking about here is, too, that, listen, Yamamoto, the last thing I heard yesterday was Cohen was talking $300 million for guys who've never thrown a pitch in the major leagues.
This dude
but remember this. See, we're just 12 months away from the Giants trying to sign Judge, the Giants trying to sign Correa, and not landing those guys.
The Giants should sign Correa. So imagine if they had the whole country. They'd be a lot better baseball team.
Correa. Anyway, but my point is, a lot of these teams right now are scurrying because now we're taking the next guy and the next guy, and the domino effect of Shohei signing. Yeah. It's not just the deferment. It's, okay, he set this bar. You're not getting close to that. But still, Yamamoto or any other Japanese player right now, people are like, if he's even 25% of what Shohei is for us, let's give him $300 million. Yamamoto's only going to play once every 5 days. He can't hit. He's never going to be Shohei. That's the problem. Shohei has set such a unreachable bar right now that, and on top of that, flip the script on what the team has to pay him. I think Major League Baseball is going to have to look into this to change the rule and say, listen, you have to pay these guys. In order for us to have a luxury tax that matters.
Like, how's the Royals compete with this?
Exactly. How do anybody compete with this?
True.
I mean, right now, you've got Cohen last year, his first full year of owning the Mets, spent $300 million. Teams are trying to get under $200 million.
Yeah.
This guy jumped the shark, went like $350, and then had to pay another $130 on top of that.
And he's not been in the club long enough to realize how this
works. And so they were probably squirming in their seats going, man, this guy's making us all look bad because he's overspending. Correct. Now you have a team that says, hey, we're going to give you $700 million. But we only got to pay you $20 for the next 10 years. Brilliant? I don't know. Manfred and the Players Association have to look into that, because what's the point of having a luxury tax?
I know. Kurt, you nailed it, man.
Kurt, you really did nail it.
I can't, like, how we got to this point where Shohei has broke the system. God bless him for his generosity and his unselfishness.
But he broke the system.
But he is breaking the system. Yep. I got a Blake Snell question, but we can save it for later. What do you think about Blake Snell going to the New York teams? I know you're down on him.
I'm not a fan, but he's one of the best out there, one of the best available.
Is he a good, third place prize for these pitching?
I don't think he's a third place. I think he's a first place guy. But remember, you're only going to get 180 innings out of this guy. Don't expect 220. Don't expect Garrett Cole to come walking through that locker room door.
No.
It's going to be Blake Snell. And just like Scherzer or Verlander, I thought you set a bad precedent letting those guys go last year. I would not have allowed that, but, I'm not Cohen.
My next question is, let's say the Dodgers get Blake Snell and Yamamoto. Like, it is a practical all-star team, even though we called it an all-star lineup 2020, last year, 2022.
Kind of the reverse of the A's and Charlie Finley back in the 70s trying to sell off all of his best players. And back then the commissioner said, no, you can't do that for the betterment of the game. They always have that chip, the commissioner. So if you were to sign all these guys and they all deferred their money like that, I would think Manfred, to save the game and face, would have to say, nope, we're not going to let you do that. You can't. Everybody can't do that stuff. To corner the market. You can't have a monopoly.
If I start running off their lineup, it is an all-star team. If they put all-star rotation together and they win a World Series, does it degrade the World Series championship for Shohei or for Mookie or for Freddie?
No, because I think, listen, the Yankees just got Juan Soto. The haves are still going forward with the haves and the have-nots.
And we had Diamondbacks, Rangers.
We had Diamondbacks and Rangers last year. Remember that. A lot of these teams can get hurt at the end of the season. A lot of them can be beaten in the way the tournament play is kind of the format of the postseason. But I honestly think that these other places have the money, can step up. But I think this guy broke the game right now, and they're going to have to fix it.
I'm a huge fan. I've become more of a fan of Shohei as the days go by. I might get a jersey and help out with this Build the Dodgers Fund.
It has to be okayed by, I think, 2/3 of the owner. A lot of these contracts.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. A lot of these deals have to be okayed. So I'll be surprised if they allow this to stand.
Wow. Well, they might want to do it
because
too.
they can stop it. But again,
do it too.
The smaller market teams will not be able to contend with that.
It might not be a third of them. They need more than just the Royals and the Tampa Bay and the Oakland vote.
All right, let's try to shake our heads and let's get back to some other stuff. Let's go to the NBA. Let's do some bounce around. Zion Williamson facing the shame game right now on his body type. I'm not a fan of that, so let's talk about that when we come back.